Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is good. So I welcome everyone in the first class of this particular series where we are going to start with the conceptual clarity of the basic topics. Although this seems to be basic topics, but believe me, these are actually very important, and I would say core part of your syllabus also, right? So we are actually going to cover them in a very detailed manner. I'll try my best that I'll keep the time very short, but it is actually going to be very effective also. So I request you not to miss out even single video, because for those individuals who are preparing for 2026 examinations, as in regulatory examinations, these videos are actually going to be very useful for them, right? So we are today starting with something. The first lecture is actually going to be on GDP. When we talk about ESI, how we can even forget about GDP here, right? That is actually the basis. This is actually something which makes the economy, right? So GDP, usually or broadly, GDP is known as what? That is gross domestic product, right? Gross domestic product. So in this particular video, we are going to see that how do we measure it, what is GDP, right? And there are some inside facts also that we are going to read here. Before that, this is the link of my Telegram channel, which is Economy with Payal. So all of the new joinees here, the one can join it. This is Economy with Payal. So I told you something that we are going to start with GDP here, right? This is known as what? Gross domestic product. When I talk about GDP here, this refers to the total value. Remember, total value of goods and services that is produced in an economy, right? Produced in an economy. Economy as in within the territory of the country here, right? Within the territory of country here, and that too within specific period of time, right? Within specific period of time. This is the definition that you people remember. You people need to remember specific period of time, and that is usually 1 year. Now the definition in itself is very broader in nature. It is actually very unique also. This is total value of goods and services that is produced in economy. This is important, right? It means we always take into consideration that in a particular economy within the territory of the nation. Now remember, territory doesn't mean geographical territory here. Territory doesn't mean geographical boundaries here. The definition of territory in itself is actually very broader in nature, right? I'll tell you what is that. But before that, always remember, GDP basically क्या है? एक ऐसा मेथड है जिससे हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं कि हमने कितना अर्न करा है, क्या क्या हमारे पास फैक्टर्स है, क्या क्या हमारे पास सोर्सेज है जिनसे हम अर्न कर रहे हैं. So total value of goods and services that is produced in an economy, as in within the territory of the global, within the territory of a country here. Remember, you can try to relate with a micro example also. Micro example क्या है? जो कि small example है. Micro economy, छोटे perspective से household हो गया. So remember, like for example, you are a nuclear family, so you always try to, create one balance sheet, right? For example, you are having you people are 4 people in your family here. So it means 3 people, like for example, there are 3 people who are earning in a family. So you people will take into consideration that yes, out of 4 people, 3 people are earning, this is my expenditure and this is what I save, right? So you people properly make a balance sheet here just for settling down all of the things है, right? So similar, अब अगर मैं यहाँ पे मैक्रो पर्सपेक्टिव से बात करूँ, so मैक्रो पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या है, हमारे पास जीडीपी है. जीडीपी मतलब कि मेरे को ये चेक करना पड़ेगा कि मेरी पूरी इकोनॉमी में कितने गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस हुए हैं, ठीक है? दैट इज व्हाट इज नोन एज जीडीपी. इससे क्या पता लगेगा, मेरी प्रोडक्शन भी पता लगती रहेगी, मेरे जो सेक्टर्स है उनकी परफॉर्मेंस भी पता लगती रहेगी. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ जीडीपी हियर. Remember, I used one more word, that is territory, right? So territory in itself is very broader in nature. I told you territory is just not limited within the boundaries, geographical boundaries only, but it clearly means कि टेरिटरी के अंदर बहुत सारी चीजें आएंगी, जैसे पॉलिटिकल फ्रंटियर्स ऑफ द इकोनॉमी आर पार्ट ऑफ इट. शिप्स एंड एयरक्राफ्ट्स हो गया, विच आर ऑपरेटेड बाय द नॉर्मल रेजिडेंट्स बट बिटवीन 2 or more countries here. Example, plane that is operated by Air India and that too between US and Italy, that will be part of the domestic territory of the India only, right? Second, in a third example is fishing vessels हो गए, oil and natural gas rigs हो गए, floating platforms which are operated by the residents of the country in the international waters, right? Where they people are having exclusive, right? Economic exclusive zone, right? Now when I talk about exclusive economic zone, now when I talk about the example here, you people need to remember जैसे fishing boats हो गए which are operated by the Indian fishermen, but यहाँ पे जो 200 nautical miles का जो हमारा जो economic exclusive zone जो है हमें दिया जाता है इंटरनेशनल वाटर्स में जो हम एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, दैट टू ओवर इंडियन ओशन हियर, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द domestic territory only, but this is true that we are given special rights here, right? Along with that, जैसे embassies हो गए, consulates हो गए, military establishments हो गए, they are specifically for country, but they are located abroad, but they are part of the Indian territory only, right? Along with that, now we have seen that what are part of it. Now let's see what are excluded here, right? So embassies, consulates as well as military establishments of the foreign country, जैसे कि Chinese embassy, क्योंकि अगर हमारी वहां पे है तो उनकी भी तो यहाँ पे होंगी ना, तो यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे, उनकी को एक्सक्लूड कर देंगे और हमारी वाली को हम इंक्लूड कर देंगे, एम्बेसीज को, कॉन्सुलेट्स हो गए और मिलिट्री एस्टैब्लिशमेंट हो गए. जैसे चाइना की एम्बेसी है इंडिया में, दैट इज नॉट एट ऑल पार्ट ऑफ माई इकोनॉमी, राइट? दैट इज देयर, दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ देयर टेरिटरी ओनली. इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जैसे WHO हो गया, UN हो गया, if they are located in the geographical borders, of course they are not at all part of mine, they are theirs only, right? All right, so when I talk about GDP here, this is what is the perfect meaning of that. But when it comes on to measurement of GDP, broadly we try to measure it from the perspective of nominal GDP and real GDP. The nominal GDP और real GDP होता क्या है? Always remember, nominal GDP always gives me hazy numbers. Real GDP always gives me perfect number for my own territory, for my own Indian economy. बट अगर मेरे को अपनी सिचुएशन को कंपेयर करना है दूसरी कंट्रीज के साथ, सो आई ऑलवेज टेक इनटू कंसीडरेशन नॉमिनल जीडीपी. व्हाई दिस इज अ केस? बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू दैट दिस इज टोटल वैल्यू. Total value, it means prices, right? It means prices. Now you people know that slowly and steadily over the period, of course we have one effect here, that is inflation effect, right? Prices के ऊपर क्या होता है? Inflation effect होता है, right? So always remember that nominal and real GDP are divided into the two aspects just on the basis of the inflation effect only. Nominal GDP is not at all inflation adjusted. Real GDP is always inflation adjusted. Remember. Now I'll give you a very simple example here so that you people become able to relate with it. For example, this is 2023 and 2024. I'll take into consideration first total production. For example, like specifically production. I'll take into consideration prices also, and then total production, right? And then we'll see if we are in profit or loss, right? For example, in 2023 only 10 products have been produced, जिनकी prices क्या है? 10 है, 10 each है, ठीक है? In 2024 10 products have been produced, but the prices have been increased. 12 जो है वो prices हो गए. So I'll get to know total that yes, 100 have been produced. Total value of goods and services here is 100. Total values of goods and services here is 120. So what I'll get to know? As compared to previous year, I am in profit, that is 20. But who tells them that this is not increase in the production? This is just increase in the prices here, which is not at all good for my economy. On another hand, if I take into consideration these years again, right, this is production and this is prices, right, it is going to give me total production. For example, this year, I'm keeping prices all same, right, I'm keeping prices all same. प्रोडक्शन जो है वो 10 है और जो प्रोडक्शन इस साल को जो है वो हो गई है 12, ठीक है? तो 100 and 120, it means increase plus 20. Now this is the real increase. This is the real increase. This shows me the success of Make in India. This shows me the success of PLI initiative. Because actually में production जो है वो increase कर रही है, ठीक है? Inflated effect नहीं लेना है मेरे को production जो है वो increase करवानी है. That is the reason we are having nominal GDP and real GDP also. Remember, real GDP is inflation and adjusted. Nominal GDP is not at all inflation adjusted. It always takes into consideration current market prices. अब हमने क्या बोला कि यहाँ पे मैंने prices जो है वो same रख ली है. मतलब this is part of my base year. Now I'll tell you what is base year here, right? Base year एक reference year है जहाँ पे हम prices को जो है वो set कर लेते हैं. That is used to calculate the real growth, that is minus inflation in the national income. Now I'll always take into consideration 1 year जिसमें पूरी economy में stabilization है, ठीक है? अब वो stabilization जिस economy में है मैं उस साल के prices को I'll take into consideration. I'll try to follow that only. On and with the time, of course, it has to be changed as well. Now you people let me know in the comment section that which year actually is we people are following for calculating what, that is real GDP. You people let me know in the comment section that what is the base year for it, right? So this is what is base year. Now there are certain limitations of GDP as well. जैसे कि हम care economy को include नहीं करते, we exclude that. We ignore income inequality. It overlooks the environmental changes, right? It misses informal economy contributions as well. It doesn't measure welfare or the living standard also, right? So this is the limitations of GDP. Now theoretically we try to measure this GDP using 3 methods, right? The first is production method, the second one is expenditure method, and the third one is income method. Always remember, there is a complete circular flow in an economy, right? Now for producing something, because I told you total value of goods and services that is produced in an economy, right? For production, what you need, that is inputs, right? Then only you people will have output. What are the inputs that we consider? Factors of production. What are factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, right? Remember this. For that, what are we going to get, give them? अगर आपने लैंड ली है तो आप रेंट दोगे, है ना? लेबर है तो वेजेस दोगे, अगर आपने कैपिटल लगाई है तो आपको इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा, राइट? और जो भी एंटरप्रेन्योर है उसको क्या मिलेगा? उसको मिलेगा प्रॉफिट. रिमेंबर दैट, राइट? नाउ ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस ओनली, दिस इज इनकम अप्रोच, राइट? सो इनकम अप्रोच में मैं क्या करूंगी कि जो जीडीपी को मेरे को कैलकुलेट करना है, सो आई विल टेक इनटू कंसीडरेशन ऑल फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन हियर, ठीक है? नेक्स्ट इट टॉक्स अबाउट व्हाट, दैट इज एक्सपेंडिचर मेथड. मतलब जो भी आपका एक्सपेंडिचर हो रहा है, जैसे कंजम्पशन, इन्वेस्टमेंट, गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग, and what, that is net exports. Net exports means export minus import, क्योंकि जो बाहर का है मेरे को बाहर भेज देना है, जो मेरा है मेरे को मेरे पास रखना है, ठीक है? and export if more than import, this is surplus. Always remember this, right? along with that, this is the production approach. Production approach में क्या होगा? I am going to take into consideration GVA here, gross value added. Gross value added क्यों important है? क्योंकि ये मेरे को हर एक सेक्टर की क्लैरिटी देता है कि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में इतना प्रोडक्शन हुआ, मेरे इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर में इतना प्रोडक्शन हुआ, टर्शरी सेक्टर में इतना प्रोडक्शन हुआ, राइट? सो दिस इज सम ऑफ टोटल ऑफ ग्रॉस वैल्यू एडेड ऑफ ऑल ऑफ द फर्म्स इन एन इकोनॉमी, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द significance of it. Always remember, here we are having something which is known as double counting as well, right? Double counting is also part of it. अब हमेशा जब भी हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं ना जीडीपी को, हमें हमेशा डबल काउंटिंग को अवॉइड करना पड़ेगा. Again, I'm going to give you one example here, right? For example, production takes place maybe of sugar, right? Maybe of sugar. If let's consider wheat only, let's take easy example, wheat, right? Now one farmer is here, and one baker is here, right? One baker is here. For example, farmer has produced wheat maybe equivalent to rupees 100, ठीक है? अब इसमें से 50 जो है, 50 rupees of wheat has been kept for consumption, right? 50 has been sold. 50 has been sold. Sold to whom? Sold to baker, right? Now this baker is the one who have purchased this 50 rupees of specifically this wheat here, right? So he is the one who purchased it. He or she is the one who purchased it, right? Now there is value addition in it. Value addition as in efforts of that particular baker for preparing what? One bread. Now I am considering that baker has produced one bread of rupees 200, right? So now while calculating GDP, what I'll consider? Total value of goods and services. So okay, very simply I'll consider 200 plus 100, right, is equals to 300. It means total value of goods and services produced in an economy is equivalent to 300. No, the answer is incorrect in nature. क्यों? क्योंकि because you have calculated it double times, right? Remember this. This has been sold and this has been bought, but the product is all same, na? This has been sold and this has been bought. Product is all same. 50 worth की जो है, वर्थ जो प्रोड्यूस हुआ है वो तो 50 रुपीज का ही है, यहाँ पे तो सिर्फ परचेज करा है. सो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, यू पीपल नीड टू एक्सक्लूड डबल काउंटिंग सिस्टम हियर. सो आउट ऑफ दिस 300 you need to exclude 50. क्यों? Because it is double counted. So the exact answer should be 250. This is my GDP and this is on the basis of GVA here. I hope I have given you a clarity here. Thank you so much for joining this video. This is the entire, and I would say complete, the comprehensive information about what is GDP. Now in the coming lecture, I will tell you how to calculate national income as well. By that time, if you people have any doubt, you people can mention it in the comment section. Thank you.